Hello, it's Rafael Gutierrez. Welcome to our channel. Today I'm actually going to talk about something that for some reason, I've been coming up across this whole week. But before I do, I will tell you guys that this last week was a bit busy for me. I was trying to get ready for the classes I'm going to be teaching this semester, which starts Monday. And I actually was part of the 52nd annual local authors event at San Diego Central Library. Actually, my book, Serious and the Rarest Things, the Spanish version, Flor de Pitaya y las Cosas Más Preciosas, is on display there, which I'm pretty happy about. But one of the things that I've come across is this whole idea of what a man is, and what is a man supposed to be. And for me, it's like being a man, it means you're a man. You, biologically, you have an XY chromosome and a lot of testosterone. That's it. And I'm not talking about a lot of testosterone like, oh, I'm going to ride my bike off a cliff. I mean, you have more testosterone than half the population. Now, one of the things that happened is I kept on hearing this idea of problems with masculinity. For instance, people talked about the toxic masculinity, and this is usually the guy who's overly aggressive, slapping people around, being kind of a jerk. And let's be honest, that's not being masculine, that's just being a jerk. One of the presenters at the local author event talked about how some of the old authors were kind of we looked at them as a great man. And, they were great men, they were great artists, but they weren't necessarily great people and they weren't an example of a great man. For instance, you take someone like Hemingway. Yes, he fought wars. Yes, he took life and did what he could. But I think most of us would say, the 9 wives, probably not a good thing. And the putting the gun in your mouth at the end of the day probably wasn't the best idea either. And so the thing is, there are different things about being a man. I mean, yes, you can look up to someone who does one thing good and say, they did that good, but I don't want to be like that. The other thing I noticed is that a lot of times radio plays, actually advertisers play with this idea of what a man should be. For instance, actually the other day I was in my car and I heard a commercial for I don't know what, but it talked about the product was for men who do not drink appletinis, and I thought it was hilarious. I like martinis. I have never had an apple martini, but to be honest, it's like after that commercial, I kind of am tempted to go to a bar and try it just to see what it's like. And to be honest, if I like it, I'll probably order another one. When I told my girlfriend that, she just rolled her eyes and said, "Oh God." But like I said, a commercial is not going to tell me what I can or can't do. I'm going to do what I feel I want to do. They may actually introduce ideas, but that's about it. Now, the other thing I actually came across when I was actually thinking about it is I told my girlfriend about how these things come across. It's like, well, what else do they say is not for men? And I said, well, some people say real men don't eat quiche. Well, I like quiche. It's delicious. I mean, you have eggs, cheese, and vegetables. What's not to love? I mean, it's not what I eat isn't going to define me. It's food. It's food, and like I said, food is something that tastes good, or it's healthy for you, and so you're going to eat it, or it's just what you're trying to use for nutrients. And that's all it is. It doesn't define who I really am or who I am not. And so I started thinking, well, okay, you have a lot of people who try to match their idea of what a man should be based on commercials. I mean, you think about how stupid this is. You're actually basing your idea of who you are based on people who actually want to take your money away from you. I'll let you think about that and hopefully laugh like I do. But that's what a lot of people do. They have someone telling them, "Give me your money and I'll sell you what you need to be a man." You have an XY chromosome and testosterone, you're there. Now, I did run into a couple people also who talk about how, martial arts is one of the problems with, the masculinity. It's like, oh, you're teaching little boys to be aggressive. And I had to tell that person, well, first, my class is usually about 50-50, 50% men, 50% women. And so I guess I'm teaching both. I would be teaching both of them to be violent and aggressive, but that's not actually what I teach. And anyone who teaches martial arts will probably say, no, violence is actually the last thing I teach. What we do teach is the idea of trying to figure out who you are. And the way you do it is by doing things and seeing what you like to do and what you don't like to do. If you like to read, that's a great thing. If you're like a 16-year-old boy I used to teach who loved to write poetry, you write poetry, it's because you enjoy poetry. And really, I guess the one thing, well, everyone's trying to find out who the man should be. Should I be the Wolverine or Batman or, all one of these pantheons of superheroes? I think the real idea of being a ideal man is to find out what you like, find out what works for you, and not worry about what a bunch of people are trying to make money off of you. Really think a real man should be. But what do I know? I'm trying to make money off you too, right? I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found something of value to it, and that you have a nice day.